the more we give back to you, which means the more noise you make, the more clothes we take off.
Welcome to my studio, The Vault HTX. My name is Domina Shannon. I'm the owner and headmistress of The Vault here in Houston, Texas.
In today's video, I'm going to go over 5 crucial lessons I've learned from making several documentary films. Lesson number 1 is that you should study other filmmakers and documentary films. Nick Broomfield's fetishes partially inspired me to become a fetish photographer in my younger days, and these days I'm constantly watching documentary films, studying how they're broken down as far as editing, camera angles, interview styles, the use of the B-roll. I recommend that you study a wide variety of documentary films. My second lesson is that you should pick subjects that interest you and will sustain your interest over a long period of time. Also, you should try to work with the resources that you have. My first documentary, Bayou City Burlesque, was focused on Houston burlesque performers, which I luckily knew a bunch of in Houston, and it wasn't too hard to reach out to them to see if they'd be interested in doing an interview. Lesson number 3 is about interviewing your subjects. I like to have questions prepared beforehand and have a structure. Sometimes your subject will request these questions so they can prepare ahead of time, and others like to just answer on the spot, which is sometimes good for spontaneity. I like to ask the same subjects for a documentary, let's say 3 to 5 subjects, all the same questions. But if other questions come up on the spot, I'll go ahead and ask those questions too. You never know when you might need more material in the editing process. Lesson number 4 is about post-production. I first like to begin with an assembly cut, which is just a rough draft edit of the basic footage, and then I'll start to trim this footage, and once I have a first cut ready, I'll send it out for feedback to several people who I know I can trust will give me their brutally honest feedback as far as what I should trim, what may need to be added. After that, I'll begin to refine it and look at the color grading and sound mastering process. Lesson number 5 is about the importance of sound. On my first couple of films, I didn't quite understand audio levels, and I realized the difference when I was editing the film as far as consistency. So I took the time to learn correct audio levels, and when I'm shooting a documentary now, I'll take my time to make sure those levels are correct. So when I get to the post-production process, there's going to be a consistency there. Sometimes I'll make documentary films on my own, and sometimes I'll work with a cinematographer or a small crew. But it's really important to take your time and stop and make sure everything is recording in the correct fashion, so you don't get home and realize you never hit the record button on the sound recorder or on camera number B. So make sure just to stop and slow down. The last few things I want to mention is that for a documentary film, I like to interview at least 3 to 5 subjects, sometimes more. And I like to utilize at least 2 camera angles, camera A and B. Camera B is usually off to the side and closer in on the subject. Your subject should always be looking off camera as far as their eye line towards the person that's interviewing them, and never directly at the camera, though sometimes I've seen this in other documentaries. Also, I like to work with original music. I don't like to use that free stuff that's online. I like to work with people who are local, who are interested in working on films. I have several documentaries that will be coming out this year. Dominatresses, Ghosts of Texas, Galveston, and Brio Kids. And I will post updates once those films are released. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate your support.